Hey everybody, I'm Dov.
I'm Nicole.
We're Twin Flame Revolution. We're so excited to be connecting with you guys. We missed you. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe so that you can stay connected. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. And if you are new to us, we are energy healers. We are coaches and mentors. We are energy alchemists. We work to really release you from the limiting belief systems, programs, blocks, traumas, and experiences, past or present life that you have been struggling with that are keeping you from your goals, your self-expression, and yourself. Right? So welcome to our channel, and if you are part of our tribe already, welcome back. We really are so happy to see you guys. And this is a special edition of our videos. This is our Raw series. This is a Revolution at Work, where we talk about our experiences, the way that we have used our tools, the tools that have come to us, and periods of our time where we didn't have tools to kind of navigate the experience. For us, the revolution is a revolution of consciousness, of love, and of our connection. So today we're going to be talking about something that's really important to us, which is mission, right? So how does mission play out in the twin flame experience? How has mission played out in our lives? And how does really mission sort of represent itself for you guys in general? All right, so this is a big subject. And before we even get into it on the offset, I would just say mission for me, really profoundly, and for Nicole over time, has really been this understanding that our mission is really our true self-expression.
Yes.
Right? So the mission is really to gather and garner the information, to release the blocks, the things that stop us from understanding who we are, so that we can really access who we are at the highest level, right? I want to say 100%, then I was like, we're human, we're having this human experience, right? The highest percentage that we can as an ongoing progress. So don't go into any judgment about yourself right now, or like where you are, or how well you've done. It's a progress, it's a process, and really allowing yourself to express that in your relationships, in your job, right? Whether that needs to shift in your career, in your entrepreneurial life, in your interpersonal life, so on and so forth. And how we do that can look a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
You could be a CEO, you could be a sidewalk painter, you could be an artist, you could be a healer. Whatever it is, it really is about how aligned that is for you. And I just wanted to say that at the offset in terms of talking about mission.
I love that you said that, because there's so many people that I come into contact with, whether we're working with people or just talking with people outside of work, and just really having this massive amount of regret. And I've been able in my life, and I know Dov has, to be able to really release the regret, because there wasn't one part of my life and story that I don't use in my life now to connect with you, to connect with many people, right? So when Dov and I were little babies, like little 5-year-olds, right? We both wanted to serve. Yeah. Like, I was very connected to what I could understand as God at the time. Like, I remember, like, when I think about it now, I thought, like, I was so cute. I used to go in bed, before bed, I'd sit there, no one was in the room, and I would put my little hands up, and I would say, now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep, that whole prayer, and I would just... And I felt safe, and I felt connected, and then parts of my life I didn't feel connected with Source, and I didn't feel connected. I was angry with God, and but I knew that I was gonna do something. I knew that I was gonna serve, and for me, and many of you you're gonna understand this, I wanted to help so bad, but I couldn't figure out how to help me. I had gone so much into trauma and in the darkness, and made choices in my life that put me in places that I never wanted to be in at the time. Like, when I think about it, like, I went to places that I wouldn't go now. That's not me anymore. That's not my life. And I look back and I experienced those things because I needed them. I needed them in my toolkit. Like somebody posted something the other day about, like, doctors study this, and then it's like healers study the dark. Like, we had to go deep into the dark to understand it, And once I started unraveling myself out of it and being able to deprogram myself from all of the things that I was programmed into, I was able to see how I could serve. And then I met this beautiful woman and blew my whole life open, blew my gifts out. We mirrored some things I didn't want to look at. We went a little crazy at times. And then, together felt that. I remember the moment when we felt called to do something together, which was wild that we were going to be able to do that. So
100%. So, same for me, and my concept of mission has sort of changed over time, right? So when I'm talking about it with you guys, it's like this mission, this drive that was internal in self, which I think that is really internal in all twin flames and advanced beings and old souls, and this kind of idea of there's something, because there was choice. There was choice. You came to this planet, to this life, to this experience through choice. And so you have this memory, whether it's faded, really distant in the past, or this sort of inclination inside of your stomach, there is this energy of, I'm here for something. And really that here for something is the memory of choice to be here. Right? So let's just anchor that for a second. It's like you chose to want to be here. And so that's part of that drive towards this concept of mission, right? So we all have this sort of feeling inside of us. There's something we're supposed to be doing. For some of you, that something is really not about doing, right? Actually, I'm going to correct that. For all of us, that something is not really about doing. It's about being. Right? It's about being here, being ourselves. And then how that doing expresses itself is then sort of an offshoot of that. Right? Because as we are being, then the doing reflects that being. Okay? Yep. And so this is this really amazing process of memory of wanting to be here, of needing to be here, of being here, and then the doing following through to that. So if you are, thinking, oh, well, my life has nothing to do with anything that looks like a mission, but it does just by the default of who you are, right? And a big one for me was, as a child, I thought that I knew what that would look like, and really it was this sort of need to serve, as Nicole said, help people, to advocate for them, and that sort of developed over time for me into a career in law and all of these things, because I thought I knew. It's funny because we know parts of ourselves. We talked at the beginning, I said mission is about self-expression, and I knew that part of my self-expression was that I had this ability to translate concepts, to translate things that not everyone could access into a language that made it accessible to them so that they could navigate, right? And for me, I knew that. I mean, it was so clear to me, but the way that I saw it in my sort of limited mind was that that would be law. Why? Because my mind is logical, because I'm an air sign, because I work, quickly in my mind, because I see things, because I understand puzzles, because I understand logic, and because I understand also humanity, and I had connected into that place. It was also for me, this concept of fairness and of justice and of balance, right? And all of these things really being grounded in my self-expression. And then also, again, as I said, this ability to translate. Later in life, I found out doing things like, deep soul work and soul realignment that Nicole did on me, which, we do for our clients. I realized, oh my gosh, this is actually all designed. This is all me. It was in my makeup. It was in my design, right? But I couldn't see how big that could expand into. And now I found a way where it's really, really using 100% of me and not just part of me. But going to where you guys are, so as twins, part of the mission is this also this love, right? As twins, part of the mission is also this aspect of, bringing unconditional love into a conditional world and learning what that means, right? And so a lot of you have experienced a lot of conditions. A lot of you have experienced a lot of traumas. And then, moving from that, both from you guys as an individual to the expression as a union, right? So the union is not just a relationship, but this complex array of things. Now, on the other hand, something that has really felt really profound to me lately is that I don't want to discredit the human heart's need and the human heart's body to have the relationship in the 3D too, right? There is this union that lives on outside of you all of the time. Yep. Then there's also this desire, and for some of you, this real design, right? You really decided this outside of your body to have this actual 3D engagement with each other in the body in this time, right? And so there is this real component to it. And when Nicole and I came together, it was like this whirlwind of chaos, a whirlwind of mirroring and pain and sort of love and ecstasy and fun and beauty and difficulty, right? Because it's all this creation spectrum. Because that's what happens is you meet together and it's like an explosion of creation. And what is creation? Creation is, breaking and growing, right? When you look at how did this world create itself, or how does a mountain happen? It requires this break, and it requires heat, and it requires pressure, and then things grow, and then water flows, and all of these different things. And so this is kind of this sonic boom of the energy of us coming together. And then, quickly we realized that it can't just be limited to the relationship though. So it couldn't just be this focus of each other in the container of just the relationship, but of our own expansion. And then another component was mission, was service. What do we do together? How do we express ourselves together? And how do we serve together? Because when twins are together, right, whether you choose to be romantic with your twin or you're just partners in service or life or business, right? The thing is that we found that a big component in actual union, in 3D union, in our relationship has been that mission, that focus that's outside of ourselves. Because when you just stick with the relationship, well, ego, pain, fear, all your shit, your bullshit's gonna come up and you're gonna be like, well, bye. Like, I'm leaving. Like, I don't have to deal with this. But then when you're higher, we all do, right? But then when the higher perspective, the bigger perspective is, no, there is more here.
Yeah.
There is so much why, right? And when I say why, I mean your why to do things in life. There's so much why that's bigger than just the romance. And then the romance grows through the why as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like when I look back in retrospect, so like right now, one of my big focuses as my human self is to find ultimate freedom and sovereignty for Nicole, right? To find my full abundance, and I've been tapping into that. And so when I look back, it makes sense to me why I didn't feel free, why I was heavy into drug use, why there was a lack of freedom in that. I like handed my freedom over, right? So there was so much, there was times where I didn't have any money. I needed to see all those things so that I can understand better when I started to break out of them, how I was breaking out of them, the difference in my mentality then and the difference in it now, and how I was able to see both sides. When we talk about duality, we need to see both sides to experience it. So if you're experiencing some heavy stuff, understand that your soul came here to experience that. So when we talk about coming here to experience, we didn't just come here to experience, and we forget this, we didn't come here just to experience la 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 and happiness and joy. We came here to experience it all because love embodies all of it. Like when Dov and I were in separation, there was pain, there was confusion, there was disruption, there were tears, and in that you could feel the depth of love. I want to repeat that we don't just experience love when things are great, but when you're on the floor and you can't get out of your bed for a week because you love someone so much, you're experiencing love at a deep level, at pain level, where you can understand. Or when someone passes, like I just recently lost one of my best friends that I love so much, and I sat with that morning, and I sat in my room for a day, and I cried, and I felt uncomfortable, and I felt sad, and I grieved, and I went through all of that, and in that I felt love. I felt human love. Right? That expression that we express back to Source. Source feels that, understands it, loves that. Hey, so all of it is embodied. And so for my mission to come and help people to see that they don't have to be in lack, to share with people that are struggling with not having freedom in their life and feeling obligation, or being stuck to a drug, or being stuck to food, or being stuck in different, and knowing that like I can show and express what I've done to get out of that and watch other people be able to take themselves out of that. That's part of my mission. And another part of my mission has nothing to do with business, has nothing to do with serving. And maybe it does have to do with serving, but serving Nicole. It has to do with me going outside laughing and running around and putting, like I bought rollerblades recently and going out and rollerblading out in the street and feeling free, and like just being alone with myself and understanding that I'm connected to all things, and feeling that, and opening my heart to, Mother Earth, and opening my heart to Source, and finding myself in all of those places, and connecting with the moon and the sun, and finding my energy and my essence that is entangled in all these things, and that's romantic, and it's intimate, and it's beautiful, and I feel alive. And I wasn't always there. I thought my life was over. I thought I couldn't have much. I thought that like I would never have what other people had. I remember looking at people, watching movies or watching documentaries and being like, okay, these people have that, but I can't have that because I'm a screw up and my life sucked and I blamed X, Y, and Z. You can have full freedom. And a lot of the freedom came with me serving. a lot of the freedom that I have now came with me stepping out of my pain and being able to show up and being able to serve. And in that giving, I started to receive. And so there's a lot there. Yeah.
I love that so much. I love this idea of, you know, really allowing yourself, you know, Nicole's talking about really enjoying life and allowing yourself to express that, allowing yourself to express who you are, allowing yourself to connect. And then, you know, really also when we're in our pain body, being able to get out of that through sort of stepping in an experience with somebody else, right? So this sort of fundamental idea of service, right? This fundamental idea of giving, you know, with another, not to the point where we become depleted and we don't exist, but really allowing ourselves to connect in that. And one of the things that she talks about pain and trauma experiences also create points of connection, right?
Yes.
And so your experiences, they're badges, right? They're badges. Those traumas, you know, you don't have to identify with them, but you have these points of connection.
Sure.
You have these points of ability. You understand people. And it's true that we come here to experience the difficulty as well, because through that difficulty, there is this distinct connected understanding that we have, right? And so, you know, I feel that we all have these sort of points. Nicole talked about this idea of, you know, I knew that I wanted to help people get out of lack mentality and limitation, right? And so the other thing we've seen too for twins is that, you know, you have templates that you're working on, right? So it's not by accident if you have a huge age gap, right? It is not by accident if you guys come from different religious cultures. It is not by accident if you have, you know, vast distinctions or difficulties. It's not by accident if you're same sex. It's not by accident. It is designed. It's designed to incorporate the things that you wanted on your mission. It's designed to incorporate the ways of your self-expression. It's designed to allow you to bridge those gaps. And so these are these templates that we see with our clients and we see with other people, that you've chosen certain templates to move through. And that's a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of empowerment to say, like, I was supposed to go through this. I chose to go through these things, and it is all designed as part of my mission and my process, right? And really having this, as you work through this with yourself, because a common question, and I could like hear one of you asking this, a common question is, does that mean that I have to work in that area? Do I have to like serve in that area? And the answer is no. The thing is that it just means that as you're working the templates inside of yourself, they're happening to affect collectively.
Yes.
Right? They're collectively affecting everyone in that area. So if you've had sexual trauma, if you've had addiction issues, and you're releasing yourself from these things, right? There's examples. It doesn't necessarily mean, and this is something that you and your twin mirror. So when I talk about templating, what do you and your twin mirror, right? So have you both had a similar experience with X, or do you see you both struggle with X, right? So those are sort of things, sometimes we can see if they're big, big themes. I've seen 1 to 3, sometimes a little bit more, templates that twins are working on. And it's funny because you think, oh, I'm not dealing with that issue. When you really stop and focus, you see how you're dealing with it, right? And as you start to break those, it doesn't have to be part of your expression in a sort of broad way. It doesn't have to be part of your work. It actually, as you break those inside of yourself, it breaks for the collective. And that's a really, really cool thing about, as you break things for yourself, they break for the collective. We were talking, we were just doing a Facebook Live, and so also if you guys are not on our Facebook, hop on over so that you can get more if you are on Facebook, and so that you can get more announcements and things like that. We also do a lot of stuff there. And we were talking about an event that we're doing on the 28th, which we invite all of you to do too. So if a lot of you are asking, like, what do we do next? How can we help ourselves? I've been praying. I want to work with Dov and Nicole, all of these different things, right? We are doing a 3-hour intensive. And we're going to be working through traumas. We're going to work through blocks. We're going to be working through abundance issues and twin flame issues and all of those things. So if you want the information, go onto the Facebook. Otherwise, we'll put some information below this video, or you can email us at info@twinflamerevolution.com, right? So this is a really good next step to not miss. And the thing is, we were speaking about it, and it's like, we don't allow ourselves oftentimes to move into this, and we don't allow ourselves oftentimes to let go of this, and we don't allow ourselves to make the steps that we need to enter into that. And we don't see how, when we are doing this work for ourselves, and this is what we're talking about in the video, is that we are doing it for so many. You're doing it for your twin.
Yes.
You're doing it for your family. You're doing it for your ancestry. You're doing it for the collective. You're actually raising that collective. So this event is really, really special to us because it's not just about you receiving, right? And there's so much going on with the energy right now and the astrology and the intensity of this eclipse season. And we're actually doing it right in the tail end of the longest lunar eclipse that we've had in a very long time. It's not just about your receivership, but actually about your work. And the thing is, as you do your work, and we talk about this often, as you do your work, and you show up in your process and all of that, you are absolutely doing the work for so many, especially you guys. You are old souls, you are activated, you are twins. There is so much here that you want to do, and it feeds you. It feeds you. So it's like this beautiful energetic exchange of giving with the universe and receiving and giving. And so it's like doing it for yourself is not just for yourself, it's also part of your service. Many of you say, how do we do service? Many of you have asked us, well, what do we do? How do we show up for the world? And I always say you show up for yourself first. We have been doing decades of work on ourselves, decades of active work on ourselves to be able to show up for you. And every single day, we expect 1,000 times what we expect out of our clients, out of anyone else. We expect it out of ourselves.
Yes.
We will do twice as much to 1,000 times as much as anything that we would ask of anyone else, because otherwise it doesn't feel right to show up for you. So we really do walk and experience this, and we know that it's not just for us, but for all of you. And the same thing with you guys. Start with your work, start with yourself, and that creates this amazing opening and flow for your ability to serve others.
You know, and what really led me into my mission was to understand like my values, to understand the things that were really important to me. I remember times in my life where I just kind of was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I do that.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I'm this. It doesn't matter. And then you know, there was parts of my life where I totally did things that went against self, and it went against all of my values. And when we're not aligned in those things that really mean something to us, it does not feel good. You are anxious, you are uncomfortable.
Yep.
Like, I was drinking, I was taking I was running, I was like buying new shoes every week because I was like burning the like I was like out the door because I didn't understand that like those things are important. So like the other day we were talking, and I said, you know, the things that are most important to me are serving, you know, this planet, you know, and even before that is my family, is her, and like my puppies and my fish, and like, you know, and my parents, and that's so important to me that I give what I can to those things. And it's important that I'm authentic. It's important that I'm vulnerable. It's important that, you know, I'm fully honest, and that, you know, I have integrity, and it's important that I show up like that. And it's important that I'm happy, and it is important that I find peace, and it is important that I do things that I love, and it is important that I take time from this awesome freaking woman at times so that I can get those other things that I need that maybe I can't get right here, and that I give us both that space. And it's important that I show up on videos because I love to do that. It's important that I write because, oh, that makes me happy. And all those little things, that's important, because what happens when we do those things, our energy pumps out the highest frequency that our being could pump out.
Yeah.
It is like lit. When we talk about it, it's lit. It is lit. And what that does is it touches the neighbors' lives, and it touches this neighbor's life, and it goes for blocks and blocks. And sometimes when we do these activations and there's a bunch of people all over the world, we're activating the grid completely by just doing what we love. And the other thing I wanted to say is being fully in your genius. And then the first thing I hear is, I don't know what my genius is. And those are things that, like, ask the universe, ask yourself. Hey, what are you good at? Yeah. What do you love to do? What do other people say that you do that's amazing? Right? Because that actually gave me everything I ever needed. People are like, wow, you are inspiring. Wow, you're charismatic. Wow, you're great on video. What? And I was like, okay, check that. I do well. Check that. I do. And I love to do those things. It makes me feel alive. What makes you feel alive? Yeah. Are you doing what makes you feel alive? Are you saying, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I don't have time. I'm not going to do that because I got to do X, Y, and Z for my family. I'm not going to do that because I don't have the money to do that. Right. I was there. Right. And I was miserable. Like, I was miserable. I had nothing to offer anyone because I was so miserable. Right. And you deserve it. You deserve to do those things. You deserve to be those things. Yeah. Are you letting yourself receive the support and the help and the guidance, right? So, you know, saying, I don't know who I am, all of these things. And it's like, there's tools out there. Right? And we talked about that. We've been talking about that a lot with people, because we will pray, we will ask for things, and then we don't listen, we don't take the next step.
right? And so really taking this hard inventory of ourselves, like, are we listening? Are we taking the step we need to take? Are we not creating excuses and sabotage to not move out of where we are into where we want to be? If you don't know exactly who you are, that's okay. So many people, right? So many clients come to us and they say, I don't really know who I am, or I don't really know what to do with this, or I don't know how to expand my business, or I don't know how to connect with my partner, or, right? And the thing is that we're able to go through this. And it doesn't have to be us, and it doesn't have to be that way, but the thing is there's answers. So you pray to the universe, it answers you, and there are ways to do it. Right? We just talked about a way just now. The event we're doing on the 28th, all of these different things. There are constantly ways. Don't think that those are not signs. Don't think that those are not answers, right? Because we oftentimes put our blindfold on, we miss the signs. And when we actually open our eyes and we look around us, we see there are answers everywhere to the things we were asking for.
Yes.
We say, how do I release my trauma? And then we watch a Raw with Dov and Nicole, and they happen to talk about something where they're going to be doing that. Those are not those are not sort of things that just happen, those are not coincidences, right? Those are signs, and they're answers. They're answers to us. You're always connected. You're always getting what you guys want. So,
I love that.
yeah. So mission, your self-expression, mission is a big part of relationship. It's a big part of even relationships that are not twin flame relationships. So if you're saying, like, I'm in a relationship right now, it feels like a sacred union, feels important. I'm connecting with my heart. It's expanding me. It's pressing me. The mission of understanding that your growth, the mission of understanding how are you guys meant to serve the planet together, right? And it can be subtle. That together does not mean that you have to have a business together. It does not mean you have to do what Dov and Nicole do. It can be subtle, but there are ways. So start asking yourself that. That is really, really powerful. So we love all of you guys.
Yes,
and we hope that this is good food for thought and inspiration, and we would love to connect with you guys deeper. We'll leave the information below. If you're new, please subscribe, share the message if it feels good for you, and make sure if you guys do have Facebook that you are on our Facebook, Twin Flame Revolution, because there's so much stuff there as well to expand you and to serve you. We are always here serving you guys. We love all of you so much.
Yes.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.